Look, I really want to move on to another story in the front page of the Oz, if we can get that up again. It's the ALP Sensible Centre story. Now, we've heard a lot of calls within the party, senior leaders within the ALP, that are saying, well, what are we going to be doing with policy? Should Labor go to the moderates? Should they try and get rid of some of these policies which are seen as being a little bit toxic at the election? Or should we reinforce them and bring them back? I think some of the arguments were that it was closer than some people would think. Parnell, I'd like to grab your thoughts on this. I know you're quite passionate about this as a topic.
This is such a pickle because it's not just the ALP in Australia that's facing this. This is social democracy around the world that is having this problem, right? And we're seeing this in countries like Germany, in the UK, in the US, where social democracy has split off into a sort of extreme Greens faction and the old Labor movement, and they're no longer compatible. So finding together for the ALP is going to be, this is a challenge no other country has solved yet. So they're going to have to try and work out, well, what are the things that the Twitter extremists who won't have, the identity set, who are really passionate about extremely unrealistic solutions to various challenges.
And is Labor just going to listen to them and form policy?
Well, it already is. This is the thing. These wings exist. And Albanese actually addressed this a little while ago by saying, look, we are not a wing of the Green Party. But effectively, the Labor Party is that now. Now, in Germany, what you're seeing is the Greens are now looking like the middle ground, and voters are moving and moving their votes accordingly. So,
well said. Now, Jonesy, I'd really like to hear your thoughts. What do you think Labor needs to do from a policy perspective if they are to win the next election? They've got about 18 months, really, to draft some policies before they're going to have to start campaigning again. Do you think they need to go back to the moderate, or do you think they should embrace some of these policies which didn't quite get over the line?
No, they need to remember what they'd forgotten, which is that Australian elections are won in the middle. I mean, that's
well said.
It's always been the case. I mean, you can get there on Twitter and listen to the vocal minorities on both sides arguing the toss, but the quiet Australians, the ones who actually swing this way or that at the election, are the ones that sit right there in the centre and more often than not make their determination on how they're going to vote based on how the policies of each of the parties is going to impact on their family budget. That's the reality of it, and that's where Labor went wrong. They hurt too many people. I found it really fascinating down here in Launceston, in the battleground seat of Bass. The highest vote for the Liberals were from booths in the outer suburban areas of Launceston. Areas
is that right?
That are traditionally Labor booths have just swung at that election because there were just too many losers from those policies that might have made sense. With Bill Shorten standing in front of a room talking about it for 15 minutes, you might be able to make a very logical sort of grade 8, maybe grade 10 debating argument in favour of those policies. But around the kitchen table, they just don't wash.
And Bill Shorten's still very much in the picture. So's Chris Bowen, who was the architect of many of those policies, and they're very visible. So it's going to be hard for them to pivot back to the moderate when these guys are such a prevalent part of the party.